Alright, today we're going to look at Unit 4, Fingerprints. 4.1 is the History of Fingerprints. So, dactyloscopy is the study of fingerprints. It has a long history and has been developed over many, many years. However, the highlight, a couple guys. Herschel did something cool just where he used Indian fingerprints, not necessarily as a means of going back and checking them for those individual ridge characteristics, but he did use them just as a sign of, with the Indians, because what the Indians believed at the time was that to leave a piece of yourself on something was a binding deal. So a fingerprint, physically connecting with it. They'd also trade items of clothing to bind deals as well. So it was his way of taking advantage of the culture. Henry Faults came up with a critical point of fingerprints, which was the idea that they don't change over the course of a lifetime. And then Bertillon, who we're going to work on, is going to be the one that came up with something called anthropometry. Anthro and metry, you should know from some Greek Latin root words, is to study the body, the measurement of the body. So to talk a little bit about Bertillon. He was a French guy, so Bertillon, I don't know. But he came up with his system, which was coming up with the measurement of certain parts of the body that he used. So the premise was that once you reach the age of 20, the dimensions of your body don't change. They're fixed from that age until death. He also thought that no two skeletons were able to have the exact same measurements. So he chose 11 different parts of the human body, things like height, reach, width of the head, length of the left foot, just all these random measurements, thinking that pulling those numbers together would give you a very, very specific measurements and way to identify an individual. So here are just some of those different ways of measuring, which you guys will actually be doing. You don't have his fancy tools, but we'll be doing the same type of thing. So his booking card contained portraits of the individual, as well as places for you to write in all of those different measurements. And so I'll get you guys a booking card, and you'll be able to do that. So in 1903, this is where there was a major event with an individual named Will West. He was sentenced to incarceration in a penitentiary in Leavenworth, Kansas. During the process of booking him, they took his measurements and they photographed him. He denied ever actually being imprisoned prior, though they had records in his name with his measurements and his photograph, though he adamantly refused that he had ever been in prison before. So those were his measurements, as recorded for, however they used to do it in that method. Now, the records clerk referenced having a card for William West. Will West denied that was his card. Subsequent investigation revealed that William West had been incarcerated at that facility at a particular 1901. This is William West's Bertillon measurements. These are the two photographs side by side. Really fascinating. Looked virtually identical. You can tell just from the photographs, things perhaps like head width, okay, are going to be a little bit different there, but really remarkable similarities. What you will notice is there's a scar on William West's head up at the top there. So little differences, but so by examining the photographs, you can tell that they are different individuals, but the fact that this failure occurred really started to push our measurement system closer and closer towards the fingerprint system. The authorities did compare their fingerprints and eventually were able to determine that Will West and William West were not actually the same person. The Bertillon system was still considered accurate almost 20 years after that. Eventually, though, fingerprint ridge patterns were developed, were identified, and fingerprints are now the pillar of modern criminal identification. Pretty intense music, huh? If you can identify that music, you will, I don't know, put it in the comments or something, and I'll give you like a sweet high five if you can figure out what this is from. Alright, see ya!